That's me. I don't have a Helman sound effect, but I'm Jeff from 97.1 The Freak. I have to say that now. I don't have to, but I want to because I want you guys to listen to the radio from 7 to 11 a.m. on 97.1 The Freak in DFW. Which way? That way. That's Dave Helman from Fox Sports.
Hey, man.
He's on TV. Hi, Dave.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
It's so good to see you. We wound up on just completely different schedules. Like I do late afternoon TV on the West Coast and you do early morning radio in Central Time.
Yeah, man.
And so I just haven't really had the chance to work with you as much as I would prefer, but I'm so happy to see you. I'm so happy to be here. Yeah.
Yeah. I love you and I miss you. Now, hold on for like 30 seconds. Hey, This is brought to you by my friends at Bet Online. You can't bet on the Cowboys because they're done playing football, them and everybody else. The good news is other sports exist. Bet Online, your continued source for all sports wagering information. You got live betting, free contests, giveaways all season long, fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events, whether that's the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, even golf. Go to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BLEAV, believe, BLEAV, to get your rewards as BetOnline where the game starts now. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Jeff.
Do you know what I'm doing with my draft stuff?
No, this conversation is the first time I've really talked to you about the draft this year.
So I started watching, and I just started watching one position.
And wide receiver, I assume.
Uh-huh.
Actually, you know what's? Wait, okay. Do you have anything else to add to that?
Nope.
So, I shit you not. I laughed to myself. So, like, I fired up the tape database and I started watching guys like a week ago. I'm moving very, very slowly, but I was like trying to figure out who I wanted to watch, and I laughed because I was thinking about you. I was like, I'm just going Cavanaugh. Like, fuck it. I just want to watch receivers. And so I did one cornerback. I did Joey Porter Jr. And then
I did one cornerback.
Who?
Ringo, the Georgia kid.
Oh yeah. I also I'm not gonna mess with Georgia or Alabama for a minute because I feel like I know those teams better than most just because of how much they've been on TV. But yeah, I did Joey Porter Jr. And then the only other thing I've done is watch receivers because I'm just like, screw it. I don't feel like looking at anything else right now. So yeah, I'm with you.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Megan Murray, who called us nerds via Facebook. That's messed up. Why do I get Jeff's live alerts late? I don't know. Do better, man. Oh, super chat. Draft is important and all, but most important is what were your thoughts on the Rings of Power overall?
We didn't finish Tolkien Cowboys because
it got exciting and we got busy at the same time. I loved it.
Jeff started morning radio right around the time it wrapped up. No, I really liked it too. You can quibble about the books and all that dumb stuff if you want to. I thought it was entertaining.
I liked it better than House of the Dragon, and I liked
them
both.
I agree with that, especially like the reveal at the end of the season. I thought was fun.
I forgot. It's been too long, but I remember that it got really fun. Yeah, so far I have watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 human beings for draft purposes.
You've watched 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched like 6.
Well, so before the receivers, I did Jalen Carter and Will Anderson and Tyree Wilson and Miles Murphy and the Clemson Breesy kid and Ringo. And then I watched 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 receivers.
If you let me count guys that I've just seen a lot of, like Jalen Carter, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, anybody on LSU's team, obviously.
If you're comfortable putting them on a board, Dave, I'll count it.
Okay. I could speak confidently about probably 20 guys, but I've only watched like 6 or 7. Also, you don't have access to cut-ups, do you?
No, it's such an ass whip. I
Dude,
mean, it used to be so easy to watch a guy in 30 minutes, and now
that's what
we
I'm
have got to go
saying. Like,
game by game and the tape, and it got to all 22, which is great, but the cut-ups were every ball to him, every ball at him. Like, it was just bang, 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 and now you have to watch the whole game, and you're like, ugh.
It takes 50 minutes to watch one game of one player. Like, it is such a beating compared to, let's just take y'all behind the curtain if you've never heard us talk about it. Like, back in the day, we just used to go to the Cowboys facility and we had access to like the good shit. Like,
to their tape.
Yeah, we had access
they studied players.
All the good plays, all the bad plays, all the plays where they didn't do anything. Every play against Alabama, every play against yada, yada, yada. And now you just got to sit down and watch an entire 50-minute tape for one game. And it's just not as much fun.
Well, it probably takes 10 to 15 minutes to watch that 50 minutes because you do get to do some skipping. Well, probably 20 minutes to watch the 50 because I've gotten pretty good at being able to, when a play ends from the wide angle, to guess where it'll start again from the wide angle.
I'm too lazy to mess around with the skip bar. I basically just watch the game. And then once I feel like I've got a feel for the guy, I might skip to another game though. Like I'll watch half of the Ohio State game and then jump to the Michigan State game or whatever. Anyway,
I just assume I got a handle on guys quicker now. Like I'm not watching more than 2 games of a guy. Like after that, like I got you. I know what you do. I know who you are. Golden Boy cards in the super chat for Dave. Do you know how weird it is that you are publicly on the TV at the gym rather than in my earbud privately like the last 8 years? Doing a tremendous job. Don't become Skip.
I really appreciate the kind words. You know what's funny is like I get so much feedback from people that are like they send me a photo from either the gym or the bar. Like those are the 2 places where people will be like, "Oh my God, you're on TV," and they're always in a gym or a bar. So that sounds about right. I appreciate it.
Formulas in the super chat. The solo supporter of the channel. Well, Vance is a strong contributor as well. Yay, TJ is back. Give half to Dave, please, Jeff. What's up with Tolkien Cowboys? We ran out of time. I ran out of time. Dave actually did hit me up a couple times and was like, "Hey, ass." And
I did. Like, I texted Jeff a couple of times and I was like, "These are the times I'm free and I'll do it with you if you're free." But it's not his fault though. He was like, I do morning radio now, which means I'm on the air at 5 a.m. your time, which means I'm waking up at like 3 a.m. your time. And he also goes to bed at like 9 p.m. my time. So we'll figure it out. When season 2 comes out, we'll coordinate a way to do that.
Last night I got to sleep at 7:45 and it was real weird because I woke up at 2:30 and I didn't know what to do with life. So I just laid there to see if I could get back to sleep, but I can't breathe through my nose when I wake up in the middle of the night. So that's annoying. So I got up and I did some sprays and stuff. And I was like, that sucks. That's not going to be good for whatever. Memphis Mike in New Mexico. Give me a receiver, Jeff. Hi, Dave. Brandon, we missed the mock drafts from you, Jeff. They'll be there. I just got to see enough players and then you'll get way more than you want. Just a dude. Bijan. Dave, would you be okay if I used the first 3 picks on 2 receivers and a running back?
Okay.
Maybe I could do a receiver and a running back and then another receiver and another running back later.
Can we? Okay, let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. I would love to have a rational conversation about this.
Bijan.
And here's where I'm at. I understand everything that you're going to tell me about positional value. I get it. But if you're telling me that I'm picking 26th overall in some world where he's there, where I really don't think that he will be anyway, he's too good of a player, and the NFL loves running backs even now too much. But like if you told me, I'd be down to do it, is what I'm saying, as long as Zeke and Pollard aren't on the team, or if Zeke is on the team, he's making like $800,000.
So I'm supposed to represent the I Hate Running Backs contingent here, and I can't avoid this Manhawk $100 super chat. Where do you have Michael Wilson, wide receiver out of Stanford at? I think he's at the Senior Bowl, I think. So I've watched 12 receivers. I haven't watched him yet. His girlfriend, Sophia Smith, is about to blow things up at the World Cup. So I'm wondering how high he goes. I don't know yet, but I promise you that just moved Michael Wilson to the top of the line, and I love you, and I appreciate you being here. And Michael
is,
Wilson,
I mean, yeah, I feel bad that somebody would give us $100, and I don't know. I haven't watched Michael Wilson. He is at the Senior Bowl, which also
there's two Stanford receivers at the Senior Bowl.
It's so funny. Again, like I don't have any problem taking people behind the scenes. I don't do a podcast. I don't do a draft podcast with Dane Brugler anymore. Dane, for my money, always has been the best resource of draft knowledge working today. So
he doesn't have him in his top 15 wide receivers. Dane's done his top 15s, and Michael Wilson is not in the top 15, but there's also a lot of good receivers. I know because I'm 12 in, and I pretty much like them all.
The Athletic, Dane does a podcast for The Athletic these days, and like I don't have a problem admitting this. Like I put their show on in the car today, and I have a list of players that Dane has mentioned, and I'm like, okay, these are like the 10 Senior Bowl guys that I need to watch because Dane's talking about them. So I'll add Michael Wilson to that list.
I watched a guy today because of Senior Bowl. I was watching the Senior Bowl coverage, and there's a Michigan State wide receiver there that they talked about, and I watched him, and I was like, oh, I actually like him better than I like a lot of the guys that people are talking about.
Is it Jaden Reed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love him.
He's first on my list because Dane had so much nice stuff to say about him.
He's very good. Brandon, Dave, y'all have the best show on Fox Sports 1, so take that.
Thank you.
Formula, my pet cat is Jalen Hyatt right now, Tennessee wide receiver, and Joey Porter Jr., Penn State corner. Dave, you living out in Cali now.
Yeah, well, live is a relative term.
I hope he gets fired soon.
Well, we'll see.
But I hope he gets fired soon, but then they bring him back for next football season. But that for the not football season, they send him home, and they're like, we don't need you until football season again. But I only hope that selfishly. Their show would be worse, but Dave would be back. And then tonight, because at 7:30 the Mavericks are going to play, I could be like, hey, Dave, I'll see you at Stan's, and we could go watch sports and drink beer. And we can't do that anymore because my friend is gone.
Wow. I mean, damn, man. Yeah, I like a lot of stuff about – I like almost everything about living in Cali, but I do miss being able to go get a beer with my friends at the drop of a hat. I have a lot of FOMO about that. Wait,
okay,
don't get distracted. Yeah, Bijan.
Back to Bijan. Okay. I am proud to be the running back hater. I think second contracts for running backs suck. I think picking a running back in the top 5 is stupid. All that stuff, right? I also think when you're picking 26th that it's a whole different conversation. Depending on how good the player is, because at 26, you're probably talking about a pass rusher who maybe as a rookie is a designated pass rusher that you're hoping can turn into something really good, blah, 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 right? And at 26, if you're picking a premium position, your bust percentage is going up because if they were near a sure thing, they would have already gone. And I think Bijan Robinson is the best running back prospect I've ever watched. Like I would take his tape over Gurley's. I would take it over Zeke's. I would take it over Saquon's. I think he's perfect. I think he's perfect. If the Cowboys took Bijan Robinson at 26, and if he made it to 26, running back hater Jeff would be just fine with it.
But okay, I agree with everything you just said, but like, I mean, you can't tag Pollard and draft Bijan.
No,
right?
I would if I did that, I would let both go. I would view that as the reason I could do it is I cleared $10 million with Zeke by cutting him, and I did not spend $10 million franchise tagging Pollard, and it's going to be Bijan, and maybe I'll pick a guy later in the draft, or maybe it's Malik Davis, whatever, but it's going to be 80% Bijan, and then the other 20% random guy that makes no money, and I would do it.
Now let me ask you this. Everything you said about Bijan's great. I don't disagree with any of it. I'm pleasantly surprised that we're sort of aligned because I thought a lot of the like younger, more analytical minded people would disagree with me that at 26 it's decent. It's not decent value. It's good value.
He's that good, man.
But okay, now I'll just throw these two names out there because they're big enough players that we know them and we've seen them. If you were sitting there and the choice was between Bijan or Jackson Smith-Njigba or Jordan Addison, what are you doing there? Because I hear what you're saying, that the value goes down, but like time and time again, we see that these badass receivers are available in the 20s and 30s and 40s. It happens all the time.
And now I'm going to be cheating on building a draft board, because if I tell you where I put those guys, like I put Bijan as a first round guy. I didn't put a single wide receiver as a first round guy.
You don't have a first round grade on a receiver.
Mm-mm.
Damn. Okay.
And I like a ton of them. I did the cheater grades. So the way that I'm separating them is like there's some 1-2s, and then there's some 2s, and then there's some 2-3s. And so I have ways to separate my groups of them. But I like, because if I have a first round grade on a receiver, then if I was at 11 and I was on the clock, I'd pick one of them, right? Yeah. There's none of them that I feel that way about. There's a bunch of them that at 26, I'd be like, oh, maybe. But I think I would. That's crazy talk. You can't take Bijan over every wide receiver.
That's what I mean, and also, keep in mind our favorite thing to say, which is that pick 26 you're not drafting a first round grade there anyway, unless somehow Bijan were to fall, which again,
you're going to make me reevaluate everything about building a board now, because like my number one receiver is Addison, but I'm not steadfast in my belief of my order at this point.
I have watched him, and I liked him a lot, for the record.
It's Addison, then Smith-Njigba, then Quentin Johnston, then Zay Flowers is my top 4 wide receivers. And I'd be okay with any of those 4 or Bijan at 26. Am I lying to myself about grading? Should I just say there's no such thing as a first-round graded running back and move Robinson down? No, because that's how good he is. But then again, if I have a first-round grade, that means I would be comfortable taking him in at 10 or 12, and I don't know if I would. So maybe I am lying to myself. This is live coverage of me working through my feelings. I'll figure it out later. Don't worry about it.
I mean, I think it's fascinating because, again, I mean, the range we're talking about, teams have found the likes of Justin Jefferson, Deebo Samuel, George Pickens. Like, you can find some really great receivers, but I mean.
But I can also find the flip side of it is I can find a capable running back in the 3rd round.
Of course,
and I don't know that I can find a capable. I want you to step in and be wide receiver 2 in the 3rd round. I'm pretty confident I can't. Well, some team will if you get it right, but it'll be way easier to find a starting running back than a starting receiver in the 4th round.
And also,
but I do think Bijan's that good. I want to be very clear here. He's the best running back I've ever studied. He's a freaking monster. So the world,
really
me and the rest of the world can devalue running back as much as we want. Bijan Robinson's going to be a monster.
I would be surprised if he's not awesome, as long as he goes to a team that has some semblance of talent around him.
Yeah, if you can't block, you're dead in the water. That's the thing about running back. Yeah. But he is a monster. Just a dude said Zeke coming out was elite. Bijan is generational. Sport and Gospel is in the super chat. Thank you. Samuel, tag Pollard and take Bijan because Dak can't get it done. We'll just skip over the second part of that and say, no, I don't want to pay $10 million and use a first-round pick for a running back. I would just go Bijan all by himself.
That would make me upset. That's too much money to spend on that position.
Nick said, when are we scouting kickers? JJ said, we're starting over. They'll scout kickers. I will not. Ever.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not deep enough into it, but I can't even tell you what. Like last year, we all knew from the jump that Cade York was going to get drafted. I couldn't tell you if there's a kicker on that level this year, but
they're just kickers, man.
I mean, trust me, I know how the season ended, but Brett Maher's success for most of the season just made me, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Just try a new guy. Who cares? You'll be able to find a guy that can hit 85% somewhere.
I mean, I would be fine with bringing Maher back if you're being honest. Like he kicked really well. He went he had a weird squirt at the end. He was a really good kicker all year.
It's such a mental position though. Like you miss 5 extra points in 2 games. Like how I would be nervous about that.
You should just not do it again. Are you okay with picking 2 running backs? Or picking 2? Well, yeah, crap, that too, but 2 wide receivers because I just want to throw, like, I want to have 4 or 5 guys that are legitimate competitors for your 3 starting spots, as opposed to, like, who's it going to be between Dennis Houston and Simi Fehoko and Jalen Tolbert? Like, I want dudes out there so that I have too many. The not enough way of doing wide receiver sucked. Like, I want one in the first 2 rounds, and then I want one in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th. I want more than one.
Yeah, as long as one of them is like a day 3 guy, I think that's fine. How many picks do the Cowboys have this year? Like, they're going to get like 2 or 3 comp picks.
Yeah, I think they have 6 of their initial 7, and then I think they're going to have like 2 5s and a 6, something like that.
They'll
like
have 9. They'll have 9 or 10 picks. Yeah, I mean, a day 3 receiver can be a special teams guy. I don't think you're not going to double up on day 1 and 2. Like, I can't imagine them doing like a 1st and a 3rd or a 2nd and a 3rd or something, just because you can't part ways with Gallup in the immediate future, and you don't want to completely give up on Tolbert, even though he was disappointing. So
would you not? I would give up on Tolbert in terms of team building. Like, I wouldn't give up and think that he's like, I'm not cutting him, but I'm not going into camp thinking that he's going to start for me. I'm going into camp that he can
definitely
make the team.
Not start, but like, okay, I mean, we're cool with the idea that Gallup will either be the 2 or the 3, right? Depending on what they do in the draft.
Yeah, but I want, like, to me, the Gallup thing is a challenge too, because I don't want to build my team as if he's my number 2. I want to hope that 2 years after ACL, you can get back to being better than what you were last year. And then if you're my second best wide receiver, that's great. But I would spend the offseason assuming I only have one capable wide receiver. And
I think that's the right way to look at it, for sure. But
so we'll find a guy.
Even I'm just saying, like, okay, drafting one guy that's capable of being a day 1 starter, for sure. I think that's what they should do. But doing 2 of those guys, now you're assuring that somebody that you spent a good amount of resources on doesn't have a path to regular playing time. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I mean, I agree with you. Like, you can't assume that either Gallup or Tolbert is going to have a better year, because hope is not a strategy. But
yeah, that's a bad point.
I also think you need to give them opportunity to get better, though. Like, you can't. I mean, if they're not getting snaps, they're not getting better.
Yeah, you can beat out my 2nd round pick in camp. You're welcome to it.
Then you've got a second. Then you've got a top 60 pick not playing, and that's not good either.
If you told me I had to just give up a top 60 pick and he was going to be my 4th wide receiver because Michael Gallup was back in form and Jalen Tolbert was a capable
that's a good
starter,
problem to have. Yeah,
I'd say I'll take that.
Okay, I hear you.
Super chat from Alec. He said, Dave, keep fighting the good fight over there at Fox Sports 1. What are the odds they trade their first for a receiver because it's late and the ones we have suck outside of CeeDee?
What receiver could you conceivably?
I don't know. Or would the Bucks be willing to get rid of people? Or the Bucks?
Who would you give up a 1 for from Tampa?
Nobody. But you could trade for Godwin or Mike Evans. Maybe a 2 or 3.
Evans is definitely, like, I mean, I think the world of him. He's an amazing receiver. But he's too old for me to give up a 1 for him. And Godwin's dealt with too many injuries.
Well, you trade for Amari Cooper from the Browns.
Yeah, maybe they could get him for a 5th. That would be awesome.
No, you'd probably have to give up more than that.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
I have to give up a 3.
God,
that would be so amazing. That would be my favorite sports move of all time. They traded away a guy and then traded for him back and gave up more.
I might retire.
Nick, Dave, is Shady as obnoxious in person as he comes off on TV?
No, Shady's freaking awesome. I love working with Shady. I know, like, I'm shattering the illusion of TV, but, like, I mean, you know, Shady's the leading rusher in Eagles history, so he feels some type of way. Yeah, he feels some type of way about the Cowboys, but he's an awesome teammate. Like nobody ever believes me, but Shady's been really cool to me, and he's a hell of a lot of fun to work with. But, you know, when the Cowboys are the topic of conversation, we kind of get after a little bit. But no, Shady's great.
Hi, Vach. Vach is in the chat. He says, I'm friends with these guys. And somebody said,
wait, what?
Somebody said pics or it didn't happen. Vach definitely has pictures of us all together.
Yeah, we got beers like last spring. Vach thinks I live on a yacht though, which is not true.
He doesn't live on a yacht. He frequently visits a yacht.
Mm.
Ken Art, they brought Gallup back too soon. Prioritize running back and wide receivers. We need balance. Do not overpay anyone. Agreed. You got to restructure some people. You got to cut Zeke. If you pick up a running back in the first 2 rounds, you're not going to tag Pollard. And we've got some money to kick around. Once you restructure some people, I got $40 million to play with.
What would you give up for DeAndre Hopkins?
A 2, but I'd try to do like a 3 and a 5 or a 6.
Yeah. I mean, I still think the world of him. He definitely made some great plays this year. He'll be 31 when the season starts. I mean, I saw somebody mention that in the chat. I feel a 1 would still be rich for me there, even though he is awesome.
You guys should follow the Eagles model. Well, yeah, that would be trading for DeAndre Hopkins. Or I guess more accurately, you'd have to find a guy who's a great wide receiver at the end of a rookie deal that somebody doesn't want to pay and that you're willing to pay. Vance, I know it's early, but any players
they did with Amari Cooper? Cool.
Oh, yeah. Any players you'd be willing to trade up for? Jalen Carter.
I was actually talking about this. My brother
trading up for D tackle is really weird, but Jalen Carter.
My brother's a diehard Saints fan, and we were talking about them trading up for Olave the other day.
They love trading up.
They do. They've done it like twice in the last 4 years. They did it with Marcus Davenport, but like, why? Unless it's for a quarterback. Like, is the return on, and like Chris Olave is an amazing receiver, but what will he have done for the Saints by the time his rookie deal is up? If I had to guess, I don't think the answer is good.
I mean, if he's a wide receiver 1, I think that's worth. Well, what did they have to do to go up? Did they give up another 1?
Chris Olave is the reason why the Eagles are picking in the top 10 this year.
Okay, so they traded their first, and
the Saints did a 2-for-1. Like, they traded a future 1 so that they could have Chris Olave and Trevor Penning in the same draft.
Okay,
so
they'll do that.
But is it worth it? I think the answer is no. Like, I don't think it makes a ton of sense to do a first round trade up unless you're going for a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times trading up in the first round is just being too cocky about your evaluations.
Right. Exactly.
I've talked about this before. There's been really good studies done. Like, you can just take the consensus amongst people who do this and know what they're talking about. And if they have guys that play the same position that are slotted anywhere near the same area, the odds of which one is better is usually flip a coin. And like, we can get it in tiers and get it mostly right, but inside of a group of guys, flip, but we all just think that my second best receiver is way better than my third best receiver, and you just don't need to think that because it's not true.
That's more history tells me that that's just not the case more often than it is.
Yeah. If Bijan's there at 23, do you trade up for him? I will never in my life trade up for a running back. That crosses a line. I will take Bijan. I will not trade up for a running back.
I'll go. I don't think trading up is worth it for anybody that doesn't play quarterback. I'm sure you could think of an example where it would be worth it, but it better be a minor trade.
Yeah, I mean, there's been wide receivers that is probably worth it. I'd have to go back and see what they could have had, but like, I just think of Julio immediately. Atlanta gave up a lot to go get a receiver, and it turned out that, but if they didn't go up, they probably could have just sat and picked AJ Green, and that would have been okay too. I wouldn't be mad getting more lineman help, to be honest. From Clay, what do you believe is more of a possibility? The Cowboys cutting Zeke or Zeke taking a pay cut by 80%? From Larry, keep up the good work by Kiwi. Thank you. And Marcus, damn, I'm late. Didn't know you were live, but I feel like 26 is going to be an offensive lineman. Just an early gut feeling. Sip, Dave. I could see offensive linemen. They could use a guy that plays on the left side of the offensive line because the wild card here is Tyron. The guy who's hurt, like, is he really going to, if he's healthy, be the left tackle and they're going to keep Tyler Smith somewhere that he's not going to be long-term in year 2 because that's their best line? Or is that going to be his left tackle job and Tyron's going to play right tackle until Steele's back and then be a swing? Like, I don't know what you're doing with Tyron because I can't imagine you're playing him at guard.
That's a really good point. And I think, I don't remember who had the report, but I read a report that Tyron and Jason Peters both want to play in 2023.
Okay.
I mean, I love the idea for the depth of it all, but yeah, like, are you giving?
It would work for me because if the Cowboys let me tell them what to do, I would say that's fine. Tyron's my left tackle. Jason Peters is his backup, and Tyler Smith's a guard. But the only reason I'm doing this is because I'm okay with Tyler Smith being a guard for the next 10 years. If he's your left tackle, he's going to play left tackle.
You're cool. I mean, Tyler really like answered the bell like a beast this year, though. Like, you want to just kick him back inside after getting an inkling that he might be a pretty good left tackle?
Yeah, because I think he could be a pretty good left tackle, and I think he could be a
dominant guard.
Yeah, Zach Martin's too much, but yeah, I think he could be one of the best guards in the league. I mean, badass.
I don't hate that idea for no other reason than that it keeps you from having to spend a big pick on a guard in the draft, which obviously with McGovern coming up, that's something you have to worry about.
You guys are relying on Peters. No one here is relying on Jason Peters. But if he wants to play more football, I'm open to him playing more football.
Jason Peters in this scenario would be like your fourth tackle because Terrence Steele's restricted, so he's on the team as long as the Cowboys want him, which why wouldn't they? So Terrence Steele's your starter.
And Peters makes a ton of sense because Peters can hang out until Steele's ready. Steele ain't going to be ready to start the season.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah, Steele might be a pup guy. I mean, Terrence Steele could very much be in a Michael Gallup situation this year. So, yeah, Jason Peters can hang out and be my insurance against that. I got no problem with that.
Oh, here's formula going after your other coworker. More importantly, is Manny a huge jerk like he seems?
No, honestly, I've known Acho since 2016. I mean, he did shows at the Cowboys with me. I've known him forever.
Dave, is Joy a jerk?
No, I wish I had juicy stuff to say, but I love everybody on the show. I mean, Joy. Yeah, Joy's fantastic. No, it's look, I've done podcasts and shows where the people didn't always get along, but like we get along great. I really enjoy working with all those guys.
Dirk in the super chat, Steele isn't going to be ready for week 1. Is he going to need Tyron at right tackle? ? Yeah, I could totally see that. It's just weird because Tyron's going to be a $17 million player. Is he going to be my right tackle stopgap until Terrence Steele's back and then be a swing tackle? Is he going to get traded or cut this offseason? Might he retire? Like, I don't know.
He's 17. That is such a big cap hit.
Well, because remember he signed for 10 years at 12 a year, and they've moved it a couple of times, and so it's up to 17.
You're 100% right. It's actually 17.6. That's such a big number for a guy that hasn't been healthy since the Obama administration.
Yeah, so maybe you trade him. Maybe I don't know what you get for him. Probably a mid-round pick. Maybe,
I don't think you'd get enough to make it worth the move. I'd rather have Tyron than the 4th round pick you could get for him.
Well, I wonder if you would rather have I'd have to look at what you would save. Would you rather have Tyron's money than Tyron? And
maybe
what you could do with it? Probably not, because when he's healthy, he's still a very good offensive lineman. But
I mean, what if? See, like you don't even save that. I mean, I get if you June 1 him, if you make him a June 1 cut, you get a decent amount of money. I don't know if you told me the money you got from Tyron could go toward like a contract for Steele and a guard, a starting caliber guard. I mean,
they probably need to sign either Lamb or Diggs this offseason. I bet one of them gets done.
Yeah, that makes me nervous.
Lamb's going to get his deal, I bet. And Diggs, they'll wait and see what happens. But one of those two is going to get signed this offseason.
I don't want to speculate. I don't know anything. Like, this isn't one of those situations where I'm like throwing chum in the water, but like Diggs has so vastly outperformed his draft slot and doesn't have the 5th-year option that guarantees him a payday. If you pay somebody else before him and then ask him to play the final year of his deal for pennies, that might not be good.
Well, I'll just tell him CeeDee's better.
Okay. So, and then you might not have a CB1 for opening day. That's fine.
Gimli, DeJuan Jones at 26. Dude's a behemoth. I've seen his name in the chat multiple times, and I don't know who he is yet. So
he's an Ohio State offensive tackle. And what I heard is he showed up in Mobile, kicked a lot of ass, and then peaced out. He was just like, you know what? I'm good. Y'all know what I can do. I'll see you in Indy, basically, which like maybe that rubs some front offices the wrong way, but I love it. I think it's hilarious. Like
Zay Flowers did it at the Shrine game. Zay Flowers was at the Shrine game and apparently did the first practice, destroyed everyone, and was like, "I'll see y'all later," and went home.
I think I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough to like. I can't tell you how good the offensive tackle situation is for the whole draft class, but I've heard enough intriguing names at offensive tackle that and somebody just mentioned Osiris Torrance, the guard out of Florida too. I mean like I think
take him at 26 and then Tyler's a tackle and Osiris is a guard and move on.
I feel like there's some intriguing offensive line options that you could work with in the first round, especially the back end of the first round where you're not. Yeah, I mean, a guard at 26, sign me the hell up. That's awesome.
Yep. All right, Dave, I'm done. I'm going to go watch the Mavericks. Thanks
Sweet.
for hanging out. I'm going to send
Mavs.
Send you money and stuff.
Go Jeff. Go Cowboys draft. Go everybody that stopped by. I love you.
Go stuff.
This was fun, man. I'm sort of like I'm on my own trying to navigate the draft world right now. Like this is my first year without the Draft Show podcast in 10 years. So let's keep watching players and I'll hop on and chat whenever you want.
Oh, Dirk, my buddy from Houston, texts me about Tank Dell every day, so I'm looking forward to your breakdown of him. He looks fun. He is fun. I already watched Tank Dell. He's a Houston receiver. Fun. He's small, he's light, but he's also fast and quick and separates, and he's really fun. I bet he's a 2nd or 3rd round pick, and he's fun. He runs fast and does it quickly. Okay, remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through. Be cool to everyone.